Me.
Okay,
So our title reader tonight is Linda Stuber.
Yes, I put up my fake face.
Thank you,
thanks,
Linda.
Linda.
And our judge tonight is Stephen Hinchey. And Stephen is kind of an old timer for us, and he's been judging for us several years now. So welcome back, Stephen. Glad to see you again.
Thank you for having me.
And without further ado, I'll share my screen and we can start.
Pictorial. Basic 6 images. Pull up a chair.
Really great lighting. One of the things I'm glad you included in this is the old ice maker, because I think that really helps you fill out the location for this image. I really get the feel that this is, behind some sort of concert venue or small concert venue or a restaurant. And this is where people come to take a break, have a cigarette, just to clear the air before they're between gigs. So I really like the lighting is really exceptional in this, and really I can't make any suggestions. I think you really get a really good feel for this in this image. Thank you.
Bridgemaster quarters.
Really nicely done image at night. I try to look around at the edges because I think that the part of the bridge that you've included in this, its contrast with the house itself is striking. You have this house which is sort of natural materials and the bridge which is man-made iron. The only problem I have here is that light is awfully bright. And when I try to go look at what's around in this image, that light keeps drawing me back into the middle of this image. It's so bright. So if you could tone that down and see if that helps you to see more of the rest of the image. Thank you.
Columbia River, Oregon, volcanic basalt lands, and orchard.
You know, what struck me about this was, even though this is an orchard with the trees in such straight rows, it feels very artificial. And the edge of the river across the way also feels very artificial. It's only until you get to the other side of the river that you really start to feel the haphazardness of nature. So I was intrigued by the contrast between the two, with this strong dividing line of the river between the two. I'm glad that the orchids are coming off at an angle. I think that's much more intriguing, much more interesting than if you had shot them straight on. So I think that was a really good choice of yours to do that. Thank you.
On Golden Pond.
The light here is just lovely. It's very exceptional. I am glad that you continued down so much. I like that you put the mirror part between the reeds, and the mirror of the reeds in the river is so far down. It's really great to let you enjoy the tops of the reeds and the colors, but the reeds aren't just floating in midair. They're not just coming into your view out of nowhere. They're coming out of the river where they are. So including that was really nice. But the colors up there with just the single waterfowl up in the corner just fills out the image, makes it more natural. And I'm really enjoying the colors here. Thank you.
Taos Pueblo roof detail, the oldest continuously inhabited community in the USA, constructed between 1000 and 1450 AD.
Well, a nice image. Sounds more like a travel title than a pictorial title. I wonder about the thought of the detail. So I looked at the detail around this, and I was intrigued by the detail. I was intrigued mostly by the, I'm gonna use the word gutter, although that's not the right term for the water drainage off of the sides of the various levels. And it was intriguing to think about how the water flows through the various levels of the roof. And you know, the ladders there in the middle of the screen and up in the upper left show you that this roof is in use. They're still up there climbing there, maybe getting up there in the evening because it's cooler than being down inside. So an intriguing image. In Pictorial, I might have right down in the lower left, I've got some problems with that corner. It's a little bright right in the corner. I think I might have shaded that down just a little. Just because it's a little distracting. Thank you.
Plaza Blanca, landscape subject area for Georgia O'Keeffe.
A good picture of the mountains. The clouds are great, but the clouds are a little dominating this image. I think that we could do with less clouds and more of the Plaza Blanca in this image. I also would have thought that all these bushes in front seem to stop us from proceeding up to the mountains. But over on the left, you've got this path coming in. Maybe if we could have seen more of the path, and that path would have drawn us further into the image and up to the mountains. Because I think I like the colors on the mountain. I think the time of day that you captured this is really nice because it gives dimension and depth to the mountains. Thank you.
Pictorial, intermediate 4 images. I am a man.
I struggled with this for a while because I kept looking at it and all I could see was I am man, which to me is a very different statement than I am a man. But eventually in the upper left corner, you can actually definitively see where it says I am a man. So that, you know, that knocks it right with your title that you've given to it, and it sets the tone that you want us to see in this image. And I think it really calls out for that. I wish it wasn't, maybe I wish you'd step back a little bit more. We're looking up at this. It's so imposing. It sort of feels like it might fall down on us. But I think it's a very intriguing street shot. Thank you.
Bursting.
Yeah, I saw an image much similar to this. And yeah, I love the idea. It actually looks to me like fireworks. You have the stems shooting out from the center and then exploding in the air. So I really think that this bursting, this title really fits the mood. I really feel like these seeds are exploding out to me, and as they get near me, they're just bursting out of their seams. So I really think that you caught it very well. I really think you have a really good depth of field here because the seeds themselves and the stem down in the middle are both in really good focus and just really hits it well. Thank you.
Saturday in the park, I think was the 4th of July.
Very cute. You know, I've heard judges say that you shouldn't shoot the backs of people, and I must disagree with them. I think shooting the backs of people is perfectly fine in the right situation. But we've got mixed messages here. The little girl is looking out into the lake, but her dad is looking off to the right. If they were both looking at the same thing and we were looking from behind them sort of over their shoulders, then it's great to shoot and see their backs. Where he is looking off to the right to something we can't see and isn't referenced, that's a little disturbing. I sort of wish he was looking in the same direction as his daughter. I think that would have made it a better photo, but that's just my opinion. Thank you.
Winter reflections.
Great colors, great colors. You know, it's not a great sky up there, so you reduce the amount of sky. So that's terrific because the color of the sky and the reflection is much more interesting, the dark blues down there. I also like that that means that you moved the horizon up a little out of the center. If the horizon was right in the center, it'd be no tension, there'd be no interest. Moving it off center, I think, adds a lot more interest, especially with the colors here of these trees, the reds and the browns and the yellows. I think it's really interesting, and just to have that single sailboat. I just wish I knew which way the sailboat was coming, towards me or away from me, but really enjoyable. Thank you.
Pictorial advanced, 13 images.
Oh,
The crazy chicken lady.
You know, I'm sure that there's a fun story behind this, and I wish you know, I wish there was a way to share that story with us. I like how well she's lit. Perhaps her face is a little flat. They could use with a little bit more indirect lighting, rather than it feels like it's directly over her, above her, and so we don't get as much shadows in her face. Her face feels a little flat, but the colors around her and the colors on the bird all seem to match and just flow and pop. So I'd love to hear the story behind this. Thank you.
A sunbird sampling aloe flowers.
Really great depth of field here. I mean, his beak is, or its beak is really sharp. Plus the plant it's on, you know, his legs are wrapped around is also sharp. I'm guessing that his neck moved a little when you took this, because that's the only thing that's blurry, but that's right in the middle of your focus zone. So that's, you know, that's to be accepted, because everything else is just so wonderful, and he pops against the red of the aloe flowers and the background. I guess this could be done with a really shallow depth of field. It looks a little fake, over blurred, but maybe not. Maybe it's just real. But I'm really enjoying the contrast and the colors between the bird and the plant. Thank you.
Jewel in the Fjord, Svalbard, 2019.
I like the jewel. I like that you picked that up, and that's what you want to make the focus of it. And it stands out because everything else is pretty monochromatic, except for the jewel that you're picking out. I wish that you had moved the horizon a little up, and maybe cropped in a little to make that jewel stand out a little bit more, get a little bit more detail from it. But it's you know, nicely off center. It's in a beautiful location, and it's really, your eye keeps going back to it, even though the mountains are so white. Your eye keeps going back to it because of its blue. So it really stands out sharply. It's very well captured. Thank you.
Viking graffiti, Iceland.
I get a feeling, I mean, with that sky and this lighting, you get the feeling of an impending storm. And I get the feeling that this building has been hit by storms a lot, and the windows have been knocked out and the roof has been knocked off. But the stone has lasted, but the graffiti hasn't, because on the main structure to the left, there looks to be some worn away graffiti. And then to the right, you get all the new graffiti. So it's really interesting that the building has outlasted all the pieces around it, the roof, the windows, and the graffiti. And this storm coming in to wash away this latest graffiti. I think it's a really interesting picture, and one to look at and take a lot out of. Thank you.
The Point Reyes in Inverness, California, no longer seaworthy.
You know, I think in there's parts of this that I think really emphasize your concept of no longer seaworthy. we've got sort of the main housing, it's still got some white paint on it and it's still upright. But the rest of the boat that's falling around is becoming the same color as the sand. So I think picking that up as the boat disintegrates into the sand, the colors there on the boat and on the sand really emphasize that this is falling back into the ocean. And you got it while it's still there to be gotten. Thank you.
The Western Bluebird of Happiness.
Really nice. I like that he's got a nice catch light in his eye and his feathers are really sharp. And it took me a while, I thought about this, are we looking, for a while I thought we were looking down on this bird and the bird is over a canyon. I thought that the green that we see there moving from lower left to upper right can look like a canyon. Took me a while to confirm that no, it's just the branch and that's how the branch looks. I think it's intriguing that you've muted everything else, that you've cut down, almost eliminated all the light on everything else except for that part of the branch and the bird. It makes the bird much more interesting. We've got a great leading line that's full of color up to the bird, and it and the bird are the only things in color. So it's really an intriguing piece of work that you've created here. And I'm really enjoying the feathers on that bird. It's really sharp and lovely. Thank you.
A Quiet Place.
Look at the colors on the mountains. Doesn't that emphasize this idea of a quiet place? It's nice and calm. And I like that you put a very slight white tint around it. It lets me know, especially on the bottom, where your image ends and the background begins. The only issue I have is right at the top. Right at the top, it looks like there's a feeling of a storm coming in. And I wonder if we had cropped that down, I think we would still get this great feeling of a quiet place without the feeling of, oh, there's a storm coming in over it. Or maybe you wanted it to be a quiet place before the storm, but that's not what I interpreted your message to be from that title in this image. So it's just a thought. Thank you.
Nacho Zocalo, artist of Guadalupe, Colombia.
So I think a lovely picture, a really interesting person, a lot of good things in this image. I love the hat. I've never seen a hat like that with those circles all around it. So I think it really sets off his face. And it also helps to set him off, his head off from the background, because the background is so flat. And I like that he's got a paintbrush in his hands and his hands are doing something, and you can still see some paint, I think, on some of the fingers. So he's a working man. He works with paint. He works with his hands. He's got a really interesting face to look at. And the background supports him. It doesn't distract from him. Yeah, the bottom part of the background is busy, but that's away from his head, away from his face. It doesn't bother me at all. I'm really enjoying looking at him in this capture you did. Thank you.
I'm proud. First place winner in a Golden Eagle festival competition in Western Mongolia's remote mountainous Altai region. The tradition of using trained eagles for hunting dates back 6,000 years.
Oh, so what a really nice title for a travel image. And since these things aren't staged, these are actual competitions they still have, I think it's still valid as travel. I love his smile, his little smirk, the pride he takes in his eagle. And I love the colors, the browns and golds in the bird, and the red in his hat and the browns in his golds in his hat are really intriguing. I guess the only thing I don't like is his I guess this piece of paper which gives him the first place is the only thing that distracts. I'm really enjoying him and his eagle, and not the first place award, unfortunately. I think the eagle is beautiful. Thank you.
Sunlit meditation.
So I don't know how you got the sun to light up like this, because it's really, really well done, right on his face, on his back, and on its chest. The look on his face with the light on it, I could just, sit here and meditate on that for quite some time. It's a really good picture of this sea lion, and he just seems also happy. I don't know if he's wallowing in the warmth of the sunlight or fallen asleep, but I think you really captured him in a great depth of field. Maybe this Jesus, and I thought about this, and now I can't think of the word. The deck tie down here at the front. Maybe if you'd just clone that out, it might have been a little bit better. The cleat at the front. I don't mind the cleat at the back. The one at the front seems to intrude too much. Thank you.
Love at first sight.
So adorable. Really good light you've got going here for this baby picture. And you've captured him, and I'm glad that we can see both eyes in the baby. Is really, really nice. The part of the rug, the robe, the blanket that he's on nearest us is very, very dark, and I wonder, because it almost looks like there's a straight line cutting across the baby, the edge of his face right near his fingers. And I wonder if there was more detail in the blanket there, it would feel less intrusive. But it's a great shot of the baby. Thank you.
On a cold winter's morn, Yosemite National Park, December 2023.
I think the blue really highlights and intensifies your feeling of it being a cold winter's morn. So the hue you've got going here really captures how it is. And I don't know, if people who aren't familiar with Yosemite like we Californians are would realize that that's a mountain behind it. And that's why the sun coming up looks so strange in the upper left-hand corner. But I'm really enjoying the light all around in this, and I think you really did a good job capturing it. Thank you.
My first 35mm camera was a Minolta, just like this one. I found this little treasure in its final days being used as a doorstop in a photo gallery in Reykjavik, Iceland.
Well, what a fortuitous find. I like your depth of field where only this camera is in focus, and we know that the others are cameras, but they're a little out of focus. We don't know exactly what brands they are. We don't care. We just know they're supporting characters in this image of yours. And I really like the light you've got on the Minolta going here. And I can't make any suggestions to improve it. I think it's very well done. Thank you.
Pictorial Master 7 images. The Final Fall.
Nice placement of the leaf, really lovely colors in the water. I don't know if they're reflections, if they're oils, if they're what, but it's really quite interesting. And it's interesting how the leaf is intertwined with this. It's on top of some pieces and underneath others, and you have to think about why that is. And the leaf is the only one really of this yellow gold color. So it really stands out and draws your attention to it. You might want to, but you can go and look at other parts of the image without too much trouble, but you keep coming back to this lovely leaf sitting right there, almost cupped by the puddle. Thank you. Next.
Goofing in English class, rural Kenya.
What an expression. I had some questions about the writing, and I thought about it, and I think, no, the writing reinforces what you said, that he's goofing in English class, which he might do if some visitors who spoke English, came to your, class and you wanted to entertain them. So we have the class lesson up on the board behind you. I know people are going to read it, people are going to be distracted by it. But you'll get over that pretty quickly because this guy's got a pretty, or girl, she's got a pretty fascinating expression on their face that really draws you back to her. And I think it's well cropped. I think she's well positioned. She's a little dead of center. Maybe you could move her a little bit more to our left, or he, but a really interesting expression. Thank you.
Sunset over Dubai. View from the 154th floor of the world's tallest building, the Burj whatever.
Burj Khalifa.
Ah, thank you.
It took me a bit when I was looking at this to realize there's nothing in this image anywhere close to the height the photographer was at when they captured this image. He's looking down on the entire city. There's nothing she can look across at. So that's fascinating. It's almost like you're at the same height as the clouds over there through which the sun is shooting through. That's the feeling that I got when I saw this image. I'm at cloud height, even though I can see clouds at the top of the image and they're obviously over my head, but the light almost seems to be at the same level that I'm at. So I was really intrigued and spent a lot of time thinking about that because those God beams are spectacular as far as how they spread out. But there's one that just comes down in the middle and seems to be a spotlight on the river. I didn't know there were rivers in that, like that, running through the city. So it's really a great shot of the sun coming through the clouds and lighting up the city. Thank you.
Inner life of an iceberg.
This looked like a doorway, and right, it's a doorway into the inner life, and that piece of the iceberg to the left actually looked like it could be the door that comes up and closes this entranceway. So I was really intrigued by that. It's really tough. Snow and ice are really tough to get good exposures with because they're so reflective. And you've got so many different levels of light in this that it would have been very easy to get the face of this berg to the left overexposed in order to get a good exposure on other parts of this berg, but you didn't. I mean, I think that the exposure you have throughout this berg is very, very well done. We can see detail everywhere. Nothing is burning our eyes. Nothing is really overexposed. And it's calling us in. It's calling, come in and enjoy, explore the inner workings of this berg. So I think this was really well taken. Thank you.
An alien encounter.
So thank you for putting somebody in there in a nice red top so that we know how big things are, but I didn't know if that person was the alien or if the structure they're walking away from was the alien. Because that structure certainly does look like a rocket ship, although it looks like a rocket ship that's giving you the finger. Yeah, if you didn't have that person, we would not know how big any of these are, but with that person in there, we can see how, what the size is and how grand all this is and how isolating this rock is. And you wonder how that stood up to all the erosion around it through all the millions of years. And so it's really a well captured shot. I'm glad you've got somebody down there. And there's a path. And thank goodness that path doesn't hit the corner. It would not be as interesting, but you've moved that path to draw us into the picture down in the lower left. It's off of the corner, so that's really nice. And it draws us to walk in and find this person and walk by that person up to the spaceship. Well captured. Thank you.
Wave horse.
Do you remember the alien in the movie Alien? That's what I saw with that big headpiece that it has. That's what I saw here, and you saw wave horse. So I think it's great that a lot of people can see a lot of different things in this image. There's a lot of energy coming in here. The wind blowing all that water off, the wave coming up, the gravity finally forcing the wave to curl over and come back down. And I'm intrigued by how you got out there. Are you out there? I can't imagine trying to be stable, on anything, from a surfboard to a 40-foot sailboat on this wave and trying to capture this image. I can't imagine anything would be stable enough to capture it, but you've done a really good job of capturing this wave cresting and blowing off all this energy. And you've given the wave plenty of room off to the left to come down and crash and expand its energy, so there's room for it to move into. We see where it's coming from. Well done. Thank you.
Russian River winter drama.
I see the river, the waves as coming up to swallow you. It looks like they've broken through a dam to me, and they're just relentlessly coming in to get you. I wish that this piece of green on the lower right corner didn't exist, because I think the water and the waves are so much more interesting without it. They're much more menacing, I think, without it. And I think that your picture would be a little bit better, but I couldn't figure out a way to do it. You would have to spend hours trying to clone it out, and because I don't think that an AI clone and fill would work here. I don't know what it would think to fill it with, but well thought out. Thank you. Next.
Okay, we'll take a 5-minute break. We've covered, so we'll share again and turn it over to Linda.
Creative, intermediate, 3 images. We are all connected.
A really great feeling of connectedness with all these strings or wires or what have you looping all through everything. I don't know what the big yellow one to the right is doing, and the green one to the bottom, but the rest is all so interesting that those two become less distracting the more I look at this. But it really does feel all connected, and a really nice concept, well executed. Thank you.
Just a suggestion.
A really nice title. I really like this title. I think it makes you, it brings out what you're trying to get us to look at and to feel. And it is just a suggestion of these plants showing on the wall in their shadows. So I think that title really brings to life what you wanted us to see here. So I think that's well done. Thank you.
Taking flight.
He is taking flight, and I think that's really good. I wondered how much of the rest of the image we needed. If we could bring it up from the bottom some and in from the left a little. But I really like that you caught it with the 2 legs up, and he's not jumping forward, he's jumping up. Thank you. Next.
Creative, advanced, 7 images. autumn in the spirit world.
You know, I don't know how you did this. I don't know how you kept all the red leaves out of your image except up at the top right and top left. Which is good. It feels like we're just following a stream flowing into this. We hit those red leaves and they just sort of keep us in the image and keep us from going too far and flowing out of the image. And I think it's I don't know whether these roots are why they're so green, but that, you know, it feels like a river. The roots make it feel like the waves in a river feel like energy, feel like movement. And that sort of brings us into this image. So I think that the creative things that you took to create this stream and to keep us from flowing out of the stream at the top were well executed. Thank you.
Dancing dress.
You know, I think the let's call them arms at the top of the image are what make this really look like a dress. If you didn't have those arms, I don't know if we would call this a dress, but it's really it's purposefully done movement of the camera as I'm taking it. I can't figure out how you exactly moved it there. It seems it was moved in many planes, up, down, left, right. So it really looks interesting and gave a really different definition to the lights. And I think it's very well done. So thank you.
Line of joy.
You know, you've gone really high key on this, but what I like that you've done is, even though it's so high key, you sort of brought it down to how can you recognize joy in their faces? And it's really in their eyes and in their mouths. I think that because very little we can tell of the rest of their expression, but we can still tell that they're very joyful, even though it's such a high key image. That we lose the rest of the detail in their faces, but you've keyed in and kept their eyes and their mouths, and the way her dress is expanded here between her arms just looks like another big smile. It really just looks like you've really caught the feeling of joy in this line of dancers. Thank you.
It takes tulips to tango.
Very cute, very cute. And at first I thought you just plunged them into water, but you didn't, because these aren't little round balls of oxygen that are coming off. And you've done a lot of nice things with the detail. The purple, the maroon red at the top of the tulips seems to be flowing off just as much as everything else is. And the colors of the everything that's surrounding these tulips changes as you go up the tulip, changes from white to green, or green to white to green again. I think I think that really makes it much more interesting than if you just had the two tulips in your image. I think that all around it just supports the energy of these two tulips spinning. So well thought out, and I think very well executed. Next.
The art of the ginkgo.
Really intriguing. I haven't figured out yet how you did this to go from these flat drawings to, okay, once the artist paints them in, these leaves become alive. And however you did that, it's very well done, because only the leaves that are painted, only the leaves that have color to them are three-dimensional. Everything else is just two-dimensional flat, and the artist with their brush is bringing these leaves to life. So I think really very creative, very well done. Thank you.
A swirl of autumn color.
A really nice intentional spin of this. The only question I have about it is that the green grass to the right of the tree is the only thing that seems to have been stationary. And I wonder if that's what you wanted to be stationary, or if the trunk of the tree is what you wanted to be stationary. And it may just be that it's really something, this is something difficult to do handheld, because you're going to, your hands might move in another frame of reference while you're spinning the camera. And, you know, to create a gimbal to get this same effect would just be really, I think, expensive to create such a gimbal. But I like that you're doing this, and I like this swirl of color. Sometimes it takes me a while. I have to think about, are the leaves being swirled up into the tree, or are they being swirled, or is the ground sucking the leaves back down from the tree? A really good work. Thank you.
Tipsy.
Really nice. I like how the two structures in the lower right and the upper left are the same color, and what's sandwiched in between is a slightly browner. So it makes that stand off. Makes it look like, oh, maybe it's train tracks, maybe it's something else. The angle that you've taken it at, and the way that you sandwich these all together, makes it so I really can't tell what it is. Is it an office building? It could be, certainly, with some of those lights, some of those angles, but Jesus, that's an awful lot of slats if it's an office building. But does it matter? Or is it interesting enough to just have these these angled lines running from lower left to upper right? And I'm glad that they don't go from corner to corner. I don't think that would have been as interesting if they'd have been, you know, exactly diagonal. I think being off the diagonal a little bit makes it much more interesting. But I think that the use of color here in this image, the browns to make what's sandwiched in between stand out, is what really adds to the intrigue of this image. Thank you.
Creative Masters, one image. Another world.
It does certainly feel otherworldly, and I just wonder how realistic the lighting is, but I like that we do get to see, there is some really nice lighting on the landscape, so the landscape is all highlighted, and then this eclipse up there is ominous. So it does make us feel like, well, maybe this is a foreign world where this planet circles two suns, and there's one sun giving us the light on the landscape, and the other sun is being eclipsed by a moon. So really, I think if you think of it that way, it really comes through nicely. Thank you.
Journalism, intermediate, 2 images. Universal Hip Hop Museum, 1 of 3. In the 1970s, the Bronx burned, and hip hop and graffiti art rose from the ashes. This local museum documents these events. 2 of 3. The museum features memorabilia like turntables, boomboxes, and a rhyme capsule with classic cassette tapes explained by docents. 3 of 3. Our docent, Kyler Bucano, poses with a photo of his father, the museum's director, and other hip-hop celebrities.
Well, a really good local news story, an introduction to a local, this could be in the paper or a weekly magazine introducing you to this museum. This first image is a great image of some lovely graffiti. And a good way to introduce it with, oh, the Bronx burned and this graffiti is what grew up. Maybe if we just had more of the graffiti, and I don't know if that roll top door fits in because it's not covered with graffiti. I'd love to know in this story, I'd love to know what a rhyme capsule is, but I guess that would be in the fuller story. And the image is just a tease for it. And then our docent here, I think that maybe this one is a little bit much. I think the first two images would have sufficed to tell us about this hip hop museum. Thank you.
Mariachi ensemble performing at Luther Burbank's Navidad Posada, December 2023. The ensemble provides musical and stage training as well as instruments and uniforms at no cost to students.
So, really poor lighting. So my hat's off to you for going for this. There's really not much you can do in this journalism picture. I was surprised to learn that harp was part of mariachi. That's great. I'm glad you didn't go monochrome because I think that would have ruined it. I like their uniforms. I like that we can see all the detail in their uniforms and the decoration of the decals in their uniforms. So I think that leaving it in color was really good. And we have to accept that, you're in a performance, you're going to have audience members and not great for photographic lighting, but I'm really enjoying these mariachi members playing. Thank you.
Journalism advanced. 2 images. A rider gets too close, knocking a barrel down, resulting in a disqualification at Olson's barrel race. This barrel racing showcases the best equine athletes in northern Arizona, Chico Valley, Arizona.
So you can't get around all the writing. There's all this advertising and rodeo and car racing and all that. You can't get around it. I like the angle you've taken this image from. It's down low, we're looking up, but we can see the riders grimace on their face when they realize they've hit the barrel. And the image of this, the horse is just lovely. We can see the dirt kicking up from its hooves. We can see its hooves both up in the air, off the ground at the same time. Great detail in the horse's skin and its hair flowing. So I think you really did a really good job of capturing this ouch moment. Thank you.
Bogota graffiti, 1 of 4. Graffiti in Bogota, Colombia is legal, but prohibited. It is everywhere. There are over 3,000 street artists in the city. This industrial area has hosted worldwide festivals. 2 of 4. The tour guide pointed out the little street cleaners one artist likes to paint. 3 of 4. He sneaks them in everywhere, like in the upper right corner of this mural. Businesses often pay artists to decorate their buildings. 4 of 4. Here the street cleaners adorn a standard municipal no parking sign. Anita is one of about 100 female graffiti artists in Bogota and a passionate guide.
So you start off talking about all of graffiti in Bogota. And this I guess this image is a travel tour guide. I really think that in the next 3 images you talk about the street cleaners being snuck into the graffiti, and that's great. This is a lovely picture. It's so lifelike. You've really captured it. But I think that's your story. These 3 pictures, these 3 images here are about sneaking the cleaners into other works of graffiti. And I think that if you'd have stuck with that, you could have done away with the first one and kept the other 3, and that would be an excellent story of these street cleaners that the graffiti artist has snuck in to other images. Thank you.
Journalism masters, 2 images. Avoiding the kitchen, 1 of 3. Unique to pickleball is the kitchen, the area within 7 feet of the net where players may not hit the ball before it bounces. Most players stay out of the kitchen. 2 of 3. But it is perfectly legal to leap above the kitchen surface to hit the ball as long as avoiding the kitchen, 3 of 3, as long as both feet land outside the kitchen zone. Wine Country Pickleball, Fall Classic, October 6th through 8th, 2023.
You know, the one thing that would have made this better is if all 3 pictures were of the same team. Because this first picture, which is the setup, and you're talking about the kitchen, is a different team. And I'm thinking, well, you've got really good pictures in the next 2 of someone jumping over the kitchen and landing outside of it. Couldn't you, get a similar setup from that team? So we had the same example in all 3 of yours. But I do like the story that you've told us. I didn't, I don't know squat about pickleball, but now I've learned a little something about something called the kitchen in pickleball and staying out of it. So from that point, you've done a good job. Thank you.
A Hard Life in Winnemucca.
As a street photography, I really like this image. I really like the sort of lack of interplay between the 2, but a connection between them. I don't see the hard life part of it. They both seem to be in clean clothes, no holes or tears, or doesn't even really seem to be much wear in their jeans and their shirts and their sweaters. So I wish you could have told me more about, is their life so hard because it's boring? Are they living on the street? Because from the looks of them, maybe it's boring, but they seem to be surviving okay. So from a journalism standpoint, that's the problem I have with this story. It just doesn't, it's more like a pictorial title. It really needs to be fleshed out more to tell me why they're having a hard life. From an image standpoint, from a pictorial standpoint, I think it's a lovely image. It really, in monochrome, it really works out very well, and I think you've done a good job. Thank you.
Critique feedback, all levels, 8 images. All eyes on you.
It does feel that way. I think you've done a great job of, I like that you got down to the peacock's level to shoot the bird and its tail feathers. I think that a lot of people don't think about getting down. For those of you who have grandchildren, get down to their level and take the picture. I think you'll find something a little bit different. So from that standpoint, I like that you've gotten down to the peacock's level and looked at it. Something's, I don't know, maybe I've just never gotten down to a peacock's level. Something seems strange about its head, and I can't really put my finger on it. But and I don't know what you've done with all the eyes on its feather, because it does feel like surveillance. It does look like all those eyes are staring at me. So I think you've pulled that part of it off very well. Thank you.
Let there be wine.
So I looked at this 3 times, and I'm sorry, this is absolutely gorgeous. First time I thought it was branches. I said, oh, how did they like those branches? That's beautifully done. And I sort of glanced at the title, but didn't really look at it. And for it said wine, I thought it said wire. So I looked back, oh, wire, yeah, I could see you could bend wire like that and get it to light like that. And then I went down and really read the title. Oh, let there be wine. Oh, that's a wine bottle and a wine glass. And I was just, I'm just stunned by the lighting that you've done on this. I think the lighting that you've done on this is amazing. It's so intriguing. As you know, I saw 3 different images before, before I read your title. So I think it's really a great image. And then when I saw the title, it's just fantastic. And I like the border that you've done to let us know where your image stops. I think it's just great. I can't say enough about this. It's so well done. Thank you.
Abstract graphic art abounds. Captured this shot of the lava fields on Painted Cove Trail, Painted Hills Unit, John Day National Monument, 2011.
I like that you've got the little trail path road on the lower left. I'm gonna call it a path to make life simpler. It sort of leads us into this, and we can imagine what goes on the other side, or what goes on behind this hill of red once we get there. There's the black hill in the background, and there's something about 2/3 of the way up the hill. I don't know what that is. I wish I could figure out what that is. I couldn't get the image to expand up enough to give me more detail, because I really, maybe that's what you want. You want us to be intrigued by what that is, but you don't want to reveal to us. Make us think about it. Make us work for your image. Make us, strive a little to think what you're doing about this. And see how people respond to that. But I really like the idea of being trapped between all these, follow this path and be trapped between all these mountains and have to choose which way to go. Thank you.
Going up.
Again, somebody's taken a different angle. They got down really low and shot up into these. And so I think that gives us a different way to look at these. I think that if you had done it right now, they all seem to be one. There's not a whole lot of distinction between each of these. I don't know what they are, buds, what have you. Maybe if you'd had taken this shot a little earlier or later in the day, when the sun is not quite overhead, there would have been a bit more depth, and we could have had separation from all these. But I think it's a great idea. You have a really nice sky to work with here. Really livens things up, the yellows and the blues and the whites. So just try something at a different time of day. Thank you.
Fly.
How intriguing, how intriguing. Even though he's pretty much dead center, it's not boring. And maybe it's just all the lines from the plant he's on that make it interesting and don't keep that fly boring, even though he's in the middle. It looks like, and I think these were natural causes, natural vignetting in the lower left and the upper right. And I wonder if you should add some vignetting to the upper left and lower right just to sort of match that. I don't know if you've tried that or looked at that just to see if it sort of balances things out and keeps us centered in this image. Because really, I'm loving the water drops. Really add lovely detail. I think you've got a really good depth of field here, and this was well captured. Thank you.
Morning warm-up.
So I wondered why you went black and white, but he's very intriguing in black and white. He's sort of, it makes the snake sort of merge more with the branches that he's on. It also gives us less detail about what kind of snake he is. I'm not a great snake expert, but without the colors, I'm really lost. But that being said, the white lines at the edges and the long dark paths in the snake itself are really intriguing. They look like paths. They look like a path you could follow. This is a rather undulating S-curve that you can follow into this image, up and around. So that, I really liked the white at the sort of the corners of its body. Made it much more intriguing. And so I think that the idea of moving this to monochrome really, really helped. Thank you.
Dune, nude anagram.
So an interesting way to get people intrigued by using the word nude, and so, okay, well, I'm going to look for a nude in this photograph before they realize it's just an anagram. So to me, as you can tell, titles are important. Titles are very interesting. They let the viewer know what you want them to see. You have an idea of what you want to see, and maybe you want to guide them in the direction of what you want seen in this dune. And you know, maybe if you'd have turned it on its side, it would have looked like a woman lying there. I don't know. I hope you at least looked at that second dune on the left, the one with the big dark patch. Looks like a woman in a bathing suit, standing up. Maybe if she was lying, maybe if it was horizontal instead of vertical, it would have looked more like a nude in a bathing suit. But you know, it's a somewhat abstract, so you can look at it and see what you want to see in it. And I'm really enjoying that. And I like the way that you created your own border, even though we don't have a physical picture. Very well done. Thank you.
Cross orb weaver identified by cross making on back and common green bottlefly. The spider bites and kills trapped fly with a venomous bite and will often wrap and store for future consumption.
I'm just stunned by the amount of detail in both the fly and the cross orb weaver. Just the detail on their backs and on their legs is just amazing. And it's just, you know, it's, I know this is a fight for life and death, but I think I could look at this for a long time. The colors are very lovely. If this is going to be a pictorial, maybe get rid of that spider web in the lower left. If it's going to be nature, leave it. But it's just a beautiful, beautiful capture of these. So they're so small, and you've made them so large and so real. And your depth of field is just excellent. Thank you.
Okay, we've covered the images tonight. We'll take another 5-minute break. Okay, the awards. First, Pictorial Basic. We have 3 entries. Get my cursor in the right place. Third place, James McNair. I'm not sure if James is here tonight or not.
Yeah, I saw him.
Oh,
Nice, James.
I am here. Thank you.
nice.
So where is this?
This is in New Mexico.
Okay.
So,
Wow.
near the Ghost Ranch where Georgia O'Keeffe lived for, I think it was 20 years. So this is one of the sites that she loved to, or focused on for some of her landscape paintings.
Wow.
So yeah, wonderful place. Unfortunately, you can't, the access to this is no longer possible. It's on private land. And when we went there, we could do it, but I just read that they're not allowing that anymore, which is too bad.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Second place, Dan Kabanik. Stand here tonight.
I didn't see him.
I wonder where this is.
Yeah.
Petaluma,
Could it be the Phoenix Theater in Petaluma?
maybe?
Yeah, I bet it is. I love that place.
But there's no graffiti, so
Yeah,
I love the light in this image.
yeah, the light's beautiful.
It's amazing.
Shadows.
Okay, congratulations, Dan. First place,
Oh.
Dan.
Oh, such
Yeah,
different
this-
images.
Again,
Really
beautiful
beautiful.
light.
Very nice.
Yeah, that light is really gorgeous.
It's just something. Congratulations, Dan. Go to intermediate, 3 entries.
Mm.
Third place, Mark Hollinger.
I think most of you know where this is.
Yep,
Just-
it's
yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah, yeah,
So
Yeah.
it's
I
just a
like,
beautiful day, lots of color.
very nice.
You're really branching out, Mark. I like this.
I'm trying different stuff.
Yeah.
Good job. That's beautiful.
beautiful colors.
Great.
Congratulations,
Good
Mark.
one.
Thank you.
Second place, Amy Levine.
Let me hear.
That day.
I don't remember seeing her.
Nice.
What a place. That's neat.
Nice seeing.
Congratulations, Amy. First place, Mark.
Thank you.
Right.
That's
start-
beautiful.
Thanks. I've started playing around with stacking, so that's why we got a little bit of depth on it. And Tony turned me onto that, so I'm having fun with it.
Nice.
Came out
King of
great.
macro.
Oh, very nice. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I immediately thought of fireworks looking at this.
Yes.
I'd be cool in black and white too.
Yeah,
Thank you.
First thing in air.
congratulations, Mark. Advanced pictorial, 5 images, 5 entries. Honorable mention, Cindy Beechwood.
Not here.
Beautiful.
Yeah, what a cool bird.
Pretty.
Yeah, I love that beak. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Very nice.
Sunbird. Congratulations, Cindy. And we'll mention Ronnie.
Wow.
That's gorgeous.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
love
no
that.
kidding.
I could see what the judge thought of the river, of the
Yeah,
Mhm.
canyon.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Very nice.
Like the colors.
Ronnie, you're muted.
yeah, you're muted, Ronnie.
There, yeah.
That's a Chinese pistache tree that is in front of my house. And one day I opened the door and it was covered with bluebirds.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Who
Yeah.
knew they had all the color on them?
Sorry.
I didn't know they had that much color on their chests.
So some do, some don't. I mean, this is a male. I assume it's a male.
Yeah, I
Beautiful.
would think so too.
Nice.
That color is
Congratulations.
spot on. It's just
Yeah.
gorgeous.
Thank you.
Third place, Ed Lark.
Thank you. This was so much fun on my first trip to Reykjavik. There was a photo gallery, and I actually asked the shopkeeper if I could get down on the floor to take this photograph, and I was flat out on the floor, lining up my shot for this one. It was a lot of fun, and I think one tourist came in and stepped right over me as I was lining up this shot.
Some drop.
That's the camera of my first 35. That right there.
Wow.
Very fun.
Cool.
Happens to be my first
It's-
35 millimeter as well.
Good
SRT 101.
A sturdy camera.
It's a great little camera.
story.
Second place. Congratulations, Ed.
Thank
Second place, Ellen.
Thank you.
This is Guatapé, Colombia. And what they call a zocalo is not what I used to think it was, but it's these relief murals that are all over the town. I'm sure there are other towns too, but They're really into it here. And this particular man has been making them for 45 years. He'd done 500 of the
Wow.
Zocolos in the town.
Wow.
Wow.
Great capture.
Congratulations.
Nice, Ellen.
First place, Tricia Brown.
Wow.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
image, Tricia.
This Joel, every time Joel and I go to Point Reyes, we stop in Inverness and take pictures of this boat. And I couldn't believe this day, just the clouds and then I thought about doing a journalism story because there were so many tourists. I mean, I was a tourist too, but just all around the boat and, you know, gesturing to themselves in the boat. And I mean, it was hilarious, but I just love the clouds and the water. Everything just seemed so perfect that day. So thanks.
I like how you cloned them out.
Gorgeous.
Great
Oh, I like-
reflections.
But I like how
Yeah.
you cloned them out.
Cloned them out?
be a
Oh, the
great
tourists, no, I
sequence.
didn't clone
People.
them out. They're over there.
Wonderful
Thank you.
reflections.
Yeah.
It'd be a great
really
sequence
neat.
to show the various stages over the years.
Yeah.
Oh, I probably could do that.
Yeah, I was just wondering if you, that would be a portfolio even.
Yeah.
Hey, there
Yeah.
you go.
Really great.
Congratulations, Tricia.
Thank you.
Pictorial Masters, 5 images. We'll mention
Of course.
Tamara Crowcom
Mara.
expression.
She's so
Great.
good at that.
Such a great
Kind of
expression.
funny.
Congratulations. Honorable mention, Herb Gaitis.
I recognize his wife's red shirt.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Lori.
Hey, Lori.
Yeah, yes.
That's a
I
desolate
think she
place.
said that formation is called Long Dong Silver. Which I
Long Dong Silver?
Long Dong Silver, yes. Yeah.
And where did he shoot this?
It's somewhere in Nevada. They took what's called the loneliest highway through Nevada, and then they went into Utah. But I think this was still in Nevada. I'm not positive.
Oh, cool. Wow.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Herb. Third place, me.
All right, Bill.
Oh, I love this
Yeah.
one. That wave is just so
Yes,
powerful.
perfect.
Spectacular. Yeah.
Great timing.
So I didn't get wet. I was shooting from the parking lot.
Wow,
It's a
really?
very
Great
unique
capture.
location, very unique parking lot at Goat Rock, where you can get these
What
side
lens
view
did you
shots.
use? What lens did you use?
But I almost didn't take the shot because it facing right into a very bright sunlight.
Press the M.
Thanks.
There we go.
There you go.
Cool.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Wow.
Nice.
Was that day with the big wave swells?
It was a day of big waves, but it wasn't the most recent one that we had. It was huge. They were huge. This was 15 feet, typically, the waves,
Nice.
10 to 15.
Wow.
Wow.
Very nice.
Yeah.
It's looking south, right into the sun.
I like the green in the neck.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
really.
That's beautiful.
The backlighting.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Second place, Herb.
Oh,
Final fall.
Oh my gosh.
Very nice.
I just love this.
Interesting
Yeah.
surface on that water.
Yeah.
What?
Yes.
Is it
It's
ice
like
maybe?
oil.
Wonder-
I was thinking it was oil.
Colors are gorgeous.
Amazing colors.
He's such a master of color.
Mhm.
Congratulations, Herb. First
Oh,
place, Jennifer.
All right,
Yeah.
Jennifer.
Oh, thank
Good job,
you.
Jennifer.
Thought that was a
Oh.
Jennifer pick.
Oh, yeah, this was in Greenland in Disco Bay. And I love those icebergs so much. I have a lot of iceberg photos.
That was
But this
awesome.
one, well, I was wishing I was in a kayak, although it probably wouldn't be very safe to meander in there, but
Mm-mm.
it was very inviting looking. But thank
Is
you very
that-
much.
Is that dripping water in the middle?
Yeah, you can see it dripping at the top
Beautiful.
of the arch.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's coming
Yeah.
down and then you can't really see it against the white so much, but then it comes on down. Yeah, they're
Good.
constantly melting and changing shapes. It's just, you know, one of the things I liked about taking these photos is like, I caught them in that instant, but no one will ever see them like that again
Yeah.
Yeah.
because they keep
Yep, yep.
changing.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Capture with all the white. Great.
Yeah.
That's
All
hard
the
to do.
colors.
Wow.
Layers.
Yeah.
It's a great shot.
Wow.
Okay, we move to a creative intermediate, 3 entries. Third place, Mark Hollinger.
Oh, very nice. Where was that?
Can you hear me? Or am I muted?
No, we
We're
can
here.
hear
I
you.
can hear
I
you.
can hear you.
Oh, okay. That was just at Bodega Head, and it was taken at night. Really super low light, and I just like the effect, you know, with the graininess and the almost ghostly looks of the deer behind, and so I took a chance with this one.
I could have
Good
sworn
title,
it was
too.
Africa.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Second place, Elizabeth.
Nice one.
That is a great title.
That's
Yeah.
really
Yes.
cool.
Subtle and nice.
Yeah.
And that texture on the wall is just really perfect.
Uh-huh. And the idea, I mean, the photo is great. Just all of it together is really cool.
Yeah, the texture of
Yeah.
the wall, I like.
A little bit of color on the bottom. That's interesting.
Congratulations, Elizabeth. First place,
Oh,
Amy Levine.
wow.
Um, 2 iPhone pics.
Congratulations, Amy.
Yeah.
That
Very
looks
nice.
so familiar. I
Yeah, no idea where this is though.
She's not here.
No, I don't think so.
Congratulations, Amy. Creative Advance, 3 entries. Third place, Cindy Beechwood.
I would have never guessed.
No, me either.
Surprising
cool.
and lovely.
That's really cool.
Cindy.
Yep, yep.
It's not here. Congratulations, Cindy. Second place, Tricia Brown.
Oh, the dancing grass. Yes.
Is that at Napa Lights?
No, this was downtown Windsor.
Oh,
Yeah, I think it might have been New Year's. Yeah, it was New Year's Eve. We were coming home from dinner and I said, we've got to stop at the lights in downtown Windsor. And so I just had my camera really, really slow. Let's see, what's this one? No, that isn't so slow. Half a second. F22. And I was doing that. Yeah, like Stephen said, I was moving it all over the place. And this is one of 6 or 7 that I really liked. So thanks.
Very cool.
You
I like
removed
the curly cues at the back side.
Yeah. So that's camera motion as well?
Yeah, it is camera motion. Yeah,
Yeah, really nice.
thanks.
Congratulations, Tricia.
Thanks. Oh,
Oh, Sherry.
First place, Sherry Ulster.
That's right.
that's amazing.
That is.
Absolutely
Really
amazing.
pretty.
Like something Escher would do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Escher, exactly.
Nice if she was here to tell us how she did it.
Yeah, you gotta
Yeah.
find out.
Very
There's
nice.
a leaf on the left-hand side near the pen that is like between two worlds.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And that's a really cool feature of that one too, I think.
A nice transition.
Uh-huh.
amazing.
Yay, Sherry.
Congratulations, Sherry.
Be fun to know how she did that.
Creative
Yeah.
Masters, one image.
Oh,
Jennifer,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gotta be my favorite picture of the year. Just because the trip to Winnemucca
yeah,
for that eclipse was just so much fun.
yeah, it really was.
And then, I rarely use Photoshop, but I was inspired by this one, so I forced myself into it, and I was happy with how it turned out. Kind of a spooky looking thing, but we got clouded out. I couldn't see the annularity, the total annularity because of the clouds, although Bill did.
Yeah, Bill did.
Yeah, but this was, the clouds gave it a lot of interest in the sky. And the color was just so strange. I didn't do anything to enhance that color. That's just straight out of the camera.
Wow.
Anyway, thank you very much.
It's cool that
congratulations, Jennifer.
round are the same color. It's really worked out great.
And I like Stephen's explanation for the light on the ground. There's a second sun. It's
Yeah.
it's an alien planet. Pretty
Yeah,
neat.
that was good.
Yeah,
Stephen.
that mountain with those rocks was right near there, but it was two separate photos that I put together.
Congratulations.
Cool.
Journalism intermediate, 2 images.
Mm.
Second place,
Amy.
Amy Levine.
Nice.
Yeah. Pretty cool.
Yeah, it is.
Congratulations, Amy. First place, Elizabeth Springs.
Really neat.
Congratulations, Elizabeth.
Congratulations, Elizabeth. Journalism advanced, 2 images. Ellen.
Yeah, this is really good.
Thank you. The comment about not having the first one, I didn't want all the photos to be of somebody else's art. And this, if I'd had a better photo, I would have put it in, but I thought this showed the area that we were in Bogota.
Looks like an amazing place.
Oh,
yeah.
Totally amazing, yes.
A lot of graffiti.
I love that.
That's stunning. That one is stunning.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, with a little painter up in the right.
There are murals that are, 10 stories high. There are murals just
Wow.
all over Bogota.
10 stories. Wow.
Wow.
Congratulations. First place, Cindy.
Yeah, she really got a good angle on that. You almost feel like that barrel's gonna fall over and hit you.
Captured the moment.
I like the ouch on the top.
Yeah, right.
Oh, yeah.
Congratulations, Cindy. Journalism Masters, 1 entry. And that's me. Yeah, I
Do you
bumped.
play, Bill?
What's that?
Do you play pickleball?
No, not at all. My wife does. I don't even watch pickleball. But they were having a tournament, and my wife told me that they were looking for a photographer. They were looking for photographers, plural. And so I volunteered. 3 days of pickleball. from morning till late afternoon.
Oh
And I
my.
ended up being the only photographer.
Oh.
You know, pickleball has this reputation of kind of, you picture older kind of
Yeah, I know.
meek people. Here are these guys with the tattoos and everything. It's really cool.
Yeah, it's not that way at all. There are a lot of young people that leap around. It's a tremendous sport.
Uh-huh.
And the advantage of being the photographer is they let you right inside. So you got these cycling
Yeah.
fences all around the court.
Where was it, Bill?
Yeah, Finley Center.
Oh,
And
Oh, at
I
Finley.
was
Oh.
dancing around as soon as somebody got out of a court, I could jump right in there and take shots from that angle.
That's awesome.
But I agree with
Yeah.
Stephen that it would have been better if I could have shown the kitchen with these same players. I just did.
Yeah.
I had thousands of images, but I just didn't have that shot.
Yeah.
That guy was particularly capable.
Then we wouldn't have gotten to see the guys with the tattoos. I really like that.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah, it's a very energetic sport.
Bill,
Yeah. Okay. And now drum roll. Best of show. One image. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Sherry.
Oh,
That's great.
Congratulations, Sherry.
Absolutely.
wish you were here.
Absolutely excellent.
Oh, I want to know how she did that.
Yeah.
I think she needs to make a presentation on how she did
I think
it.
so too.
Yeah,
Very
Totally.
good.
I agree.
Absolutely.
Agree.
Well, Sherry paints. I wonder if this is one of her paintings.
Is that her
Oh.
hand? Don't know.
That can't be her hand.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Unless,
Very good.
Wonderful. Stephen, as usual,
Yeah.
you did a great job.
Yeah.
Did. Thank you,
Excellent,
Steve.
thank you so much.
Excellent
Thank you, Bill and
commentary.
Steve
Yes,
you.
really. Thank you.
Thank you.
Really, really good
and Linda.
commentary.
Oh, you're welcome.
Some great images, folks. It was tough to decide a lot of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks so much.
Thanks.
Thanks for coming
Good
back.
job.
Yes.
All right.
Okay, good night,
I'm off to
everybody.
eat
You all.
dinner.
Bye.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.